the 10. Great play call on 3rd and 1 to stretch out this Capital City defense and let speed do the talking.
And great for Jordan to really sneak in as well, as he's having a great night. Puts him near that 50-yard mark and averaging just a little over, 13 yards a carry this evening.
Yeah, I've liked the balanced rushing attack from Jefferson City tonight. Garnett with 4 for 45, Jordan 3 for 40, Wiggs 2 for 15. They spread the wealth. This time they go to Wiggs, breaks through a tackle, spins down at the 9. Joe Schaefer on the stop.
So Wiggs once again getting a little bit of piece of the pie this evening, and just continuing to push forward for Jefferson City as we're less than 3 minutes to go here in the second. And just once again, run after run. Both of these teams just trying to continue to chip away at each other, but nobody breaking the plane as of yet.
Tight ends motion right. Now Tadson set up in the slot. Wings gets the toss. Wings trying to power his way to the goal line, and he's short. Finds his way to the 1-yard line to set up 1st and goal.
Great for his O-line to give him some wings to try to push him just a little bit forward. It's going to be interesting to see, though, once again, we've got 5 Jefferson City rushers that have been on the board this evening. Which one will they go with for possibly an opportunity to break through? Or could we just see what we saw to begin the second quarter, Capital City stuffing the Jays? A little deja vu.
Motion right for Wings. And a touchdown. Ethan Garnett crosses the plane. And the man who's done the brunt of the work tonight in this Jefferson City Jays backfield strikes first to put the Jays on top by 6.
And just a great sight, great push for him just to get past 3 Capital City defenders. And just like that, we have finally broken the tie. 21 and a half minutes into this one.
JoJo Kuster on for the kick. Zane Wings to hold. It's down, it's up, and it is good. Great recovery by Zane Wings. Fumbled the hold there, but it's a 7-0 lead for Jefferson City over Capital City with 1:46 to go here in the second. Back in a moment. It's Mid-Missouri High School football on MC22.
This is the internet that keeps the TV streaming, the meeting zooming, the playlist flowing, and the doorbell showing who's coming and going. This is the internet that powers the workout, that does the homework, that makes the lights work, that makes for light work, and makes...
Don't forget to pick up Charlie.
...your life work. This is the internet that keeps it all connected and has hundreds of people. Sure, it's protected.
Nice try, hackers.
This is the internet voted best because it's extreme, nothing less.
Welcome back to Mid-Missouri High School football on MC22. Jefferson City Jays found a way to capitalize on their last drive, punching in with a 1-yard run from Ethan Garnett. And now Capital City will have less than 2 minutes to try to answer the bell as this kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. And Joe, remember, Jefferson City has the advantage here. They need one stop, and they get the football back to start the second half.
And I think, once again, time of possession we noticed was going to play a big impact for these two teams. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to be interested to see how Capital City is just going to try to keep things moving with the 1:46 that they have left. They've got 2 timeouts to work with, thankfully, but then I'm going to be interested to see how quickly they can move on up and move to really try to get level with Jefferson City. I'm going to be once again looking out for Jacobs and Thomas, but maybe we start seeing Carroll throwing some in the air.
They go to Thomas on 1st and 10. He picks up about 3 on the play. Clock still rolling. Yes, Capital City has 2 timeouts to work with here. There doesn't seem to be much of a sense of urgency from Hayden Carroll and the offensive staff.
And one thing that we've noticed about Carroll too, he's always running to Collier just to make sure, hey, what's the play that we're going to run with? Just keeping that communication going with his coach. I definitely dig what he's doing with that. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with the time they have left, though.
You give to Jacobs as he barrels his way up to the 28-yard line. Just short of the first down marker, brings up 3rd and 1. Inside a minute to go here in the second half, or second quarter, rather.
Carroll just taking his time, really communicating well with Coach Joe Collier. They're going to have to act with a little bit of a sense of urgency if they want to try to do something to close out the second half, because once again, Jeff City leading off the second half. Last thing you need, especially if you're already down 7-0.
30 seconds remaining here in the second. 3rd and 1 for the Cavaliers. Carroll drops back to pass. Incomplete. Intended target was Cameron Harrison on an easy slant route, but the ball was nowhere close to Harrison. Went right into the hands of the defender, Josh Wilson.
Just great triple coverage between Kendrick Johnson, Kentrell Jordan, and Josh Wilson as well, just to try to sniff that out. Now we're going to look to see if Capital City's going to punt it.
Yeah, they will. They're going to punt it for your point.
Which is the wise move at this point for Jeff City, unless you really want to try to make some magic happen with 22.6 to go. You think just, slow it down, go into halftime knowing that you're up. Get ready for half number 2.
Capital City burns a timeout. They weren't ready on special teams, didn't have 11 guys on the field, only had 10. So I think with Jefferson City having the ability to really wear them down in that last drive, it took about 9 minutes off the clock just to punch that score in. I think Capital City's starting to feel the nerves of this game creeping up on them. I think the atmosphere might be getting to them a little bit to where they're starting to make some mental mistakes just in this short drive. You've seen a couple of instances, wrong route, miscommunication, 4th down, not enough guys on the field for special teams. Those things have to be cleaned up because the time of possession is so minuscule in this game, Joe.
Absolutely, and just taking advantage of that time that you have. Really feeling, once again, just that nervous energy of, oh my gosh, we got to make something happen. We don't have too much time late here in this first half. So going to be interested to see how they're going to try to regroup going into half number 2.
High kick that spirals to Ryan Tendon, and he'll get away from it. It'll roll down to the 26, and that's where Capital City will down it. Isaac Nelson on the coverage with 10.5 seconds to go here in the second, as Jefferson City should kneel this and take it into the half, knowing that they get the football to start the second half. But if you think about improvements that Jefferson City has made throughout this game, I think offensively, they really found that running the ball with a number of guys has been the way to success to them.
Absolutely, and just once again having so many targets that they can choose from, whether it be Johnson, whether it be Jordan, whether it even be Wilson himself continuing to make moves. It's going to help the Jays, especially going into the second half, as they just run just a few more yards to run it out in this first half. And once again, time of possession is everything, but Jefferson City made the most of theirs.
And that's why they lead 7-0. In the first half of the Capital City, Jefferson City rivalry game right here at Atkins Stadium at the capital of Missouri. We'll be back in just a minute after this halftime break. This is Mid-Missouri High School football on MC22.
2 seconds, 1 second for the win. Oh, it's good. Bruce Thornton for the win.
Did you miss that buzzer-beating shot or want to watch it again and again? Visit our updated website, mc22.net. Discover everything MC22 has to offer. Check local listings on the go with our mobile-friendly website. Check the all-new sports calendar to find when MC22 will be at your school. Register for an account today and start watching live and on-demand sports, shows, and more. The new and improved MC22.net.
Welcome to the Extreme Halftime Show, powered by Mediacom. I'm Rob Brooks. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Let's take a look at the matchups that you can catch this week here on Mediacom MC22. Crosstown matchup between Cedar Rapids Xavier and the Cedar Rapids Washington Warriors. Xavier, of course, year in and year out, one of the best teams in Class 4A. Has dominated opponents again this year, especially on the defensive side of football, where they are only giving up 7 points a game. This week, the Warriors will attempt to ruin Xavier's perfect season so far. Washington will rely on Michael Blank, one of the state's best athletes, to get the job done. He is 4th in Class 4A in all-purpose yards with 682, including a 79-yard kickoff return. City bragging rights are on the line as Des Moines Lincoln and Des Moines North meet in week number 5. Polar Bear running back Aaron Gronkaron leads Class 5A with 7 rushing touchdowns, 881 yards on the ground, and 1,220 all-purpose yards. North will play Roosevelt for the mythical city championship with a win this week over the Rail Splitters. The Quad Cities crew stays in the state of Illinois as they cover the Sherrod and Morrison game. The Sherrod Tigers are looking for their first win of the year. Half of their losses were by only 1 possession. On the other hand, Morrison Mustangs have 2 wins, matching last year's total. Last week, they beat Ball Putnam County in a thrilling overtime ball game, 38-32. In the tri-state area, the Western Dubuque Bobcats host the Marion Wolves. Both teams coming into this game on a high note, winners of 2 in a row. Marion's ground game has been very productive the last couple of weeks, with running backs Alex Moda leading the way with 201 yards and a couple of touchdowns. If the Wolves can control the clock and put pressure on Bobcat freshman quarterback Brett Harris, Marion might be able to pull the upset and get its first district win of the year. Western Dubuque certainly has an outstanding running game and has been hot since the quarterback change to Harris. 2 Northwest Iowa unbeaten teams collide in Spirit Lake as the undefeated Indians take on the undefeated Odebolt. Arthur, Battle Creek, Ida Grove Falcons. That ought to be a good one. MC22 continues its coverage of Capital City's historic run here in week number 5. This time the Cavaliers host the Jefferson City Jays. Cavaliers have already created problems in the CMAC, and nothing is a given for Jefferson City. Capital City's run game has been bowling over its competition, but will be enough for the Cavaliers against the Jays. We've reached the midway point of the high school football season in southwest Missouri. The Tigers of Republic on the road to take on the winless Willard Tigers in a Class 5 District 6 matchup for the 2 Central Ozark Conference members. Meanwhile, Republic has an exciting offense that scored over 60 points last week against Neosho. Last year, when these 2 teams met, it was the Republic Tigers who came out on top 45-21. We'll take a look at next week's featured contests after the break. back to the Extreme Halftime Show powered by MediaCom. I'm Rob Brooks. Let's take a look at some of the games you can catch next week right here on MediaCom MC22. We'll start in eastern Iowa, Southeast Mo, one of the top programs in the state. Makes the drive up to Cedar Rapids and the Marion area. Take on the Linn-Mar Lions. After suffering through their first loss of the season last week, the Rams are looking to finish the second half of the season strong. The team averages over 180 yards rushing behind big-time talented offensive line, headed by Hayden, of course, a future Iowa Hawkeye. The Lions will be playing their second game inside Linn-Mar Stadium. It's been an issue this year as the installation of a new field took place. The Lions hoping that they can pull the upset in front of their raucous home crowd. Week 6 features a Class 5A Group 6 matchup between Ankeny Centennial and Urbandale. The Jaguars are playing very well as of late, with a dominant win over Joaquin and a 2-score victory over Cedar Falls. The Jayhawks have stars on both sides of the football. Wide receiver and future Iowa State Cyclone Kai Black and linebacker Cole Garwood. Garwood has the attention of a lot of college coaches with his Class 5A leading 45 total tackles and 6.5 sacks. The Walk-On Indians travel to Dubuque to take on the Wahlert Golden Eagles, and this is a very important game which could determine who will be the Class 2A District 4 champion. The Esterville Lincoln Central Midgets may have a 500 record, but both losses were to ranked teams. They travel just down the road to take on Northwest Iowa rival, the undefeated Spirit Lake Indians. The last 2 seasons, this rivalry game has been decided on the final play of the game. You want to catch this one. Live coverage on MC22 begins next Friday at 7 o'clock in Northwest Iowa. MC22 returns to Como in Week 6 to feature Smith Cotton and Babel as they go at it once again on the football field. 2022 has been disappointing to Battle fans, to say the least, but now they have an opportunity to build on some mid-season momentum in the quest to get back to 500 on the season. CMAC play has not been kind to Sedalia Smith Cotton after a stunning 22-21 victory in Week 1 over Moberly. We'll finish out the year on a high note. Tigers or the Spartans? Find out next week on MC22.net. Coverage starts at 6:55. In week number 6, the MC22 cameras will head to Southwest Missouri. It's the game of the week. That will be a clash of mean green teams. Mount Vernon Mountaineers will travel up I-44 to Springfield to take on the Catholic Fighting Irish. The Mountaineers won its first 3 games to start the season and will look to get back winning under the Friday Night Lights against Catholic. But senior captain McGuire Orman and the Fighting Irish might have other plans, hoping to get their offense jump-started in front of their fans. This game will be streaming live next Friday on MC22.net. Thank you for joining us for the Extreme Halftime Show powered by MediaCom. Stay tuned for second half action of the local MC22 football game after these messages.
This is the internet that keeps the TV streaming, the meeting zooming, the playlist flowing, and the doorbell showing who's coming and going. This is the internet that powers the workout, that does the homework, that makes the lights work, that makes for light work, and makes...
Don't forget to pick up Charlie.
...your life work. This is the internet that keeps it all connected and has hundreds of people ensure it's protected.
Nice try, hackers.
This is the internet voted best because it's extreme, nothing less.
MC22 doesn't take a week off. Every week of the regular season, MC22 will bring you the biggest plays, the rising stars, and the best matchups in high school football. After the final play, catch the replay of the game Friday night at 10 p.m. with more replays Saturday, Sunday, and all week long. MC22 is the original home of full game coverage of high school sports.
Well, it's halftime in mid-Missouri as we welcome you back to Atkins Stadium here in Jefferson City, Missouri. Let's take a look at some of the Central Missouri Athletic Conference scores around the league. North County leading battle in St. Louis in the second quarter by one score, of course, right here in JC. Jefferson City leading by one touchdown over Capital City. Rockbridge leading over Helias. That's a really important game because it's got implications for the top seed in this CMAC. Joe can explain that a little bit later. And Hickman over Smith Cotton right now, 15-0 in the second quarter. It's pretty close around the league right now, Joe.
That it is, and we've known that Rockbridge and Helias were always going to be the class of those two programs. But what we didn't know, though, is how Capital City has had an opportunity to try to creep in that upper echelon. With a game that's going on about, maybe 5-10 minutes away from here, with Rockbridge leading at Helias on their homecoming night. If you're Coach Matt Perkins, you have to be feeling really good about your team. And not only that, but taking a big win in overtime against this resurgent Capital City team last week. As we do take a look at that standings, a win over Helias tonight would definitely push them with 2 games up with 4 weeks to go. Because keep in mind, we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and not that CMAC standings would play an impact, but you got to look at overall standings too. Could possibly get them a home game in the playoffs, something that we haven't seen with Rockbridge in quite some time. Same thing with Helias, and we even talked with Capital City too. Should they continue their resurgence, they would be at the top. But we take a look at Jefferson City too. This game is just as pivotal for them too, as they would potentially move up to 3rd place, since once again both teams, the Jefferson City go potential, if they were to win this tonight, go 2-1. Capital City to 2-2. It would put Jefferson City back in that 3rd spot, something that we've seen the Jays trying to creep up to since the conference's inception. And tonight, it's going to be all about possessions. And we've seen tonight that the time of possessions for these two teams have been sizable, and quite simply, just a lot of running. If you came for passing, this is not the night for you, unfortunately.
No, it's not. And we look at the full season comparison between these two quarterbacks, Hayden, Carroll, and Jacob Wilson. Of course, both junior quarterbacks, but guys that have shown that they can throw the football, but the strengths of both of their offenses rely on the ground, and that's why you see that neither one of these guys have more than 20 passing attempts on the year or more than 200 yards in the air, respectively.
Absolutely. It's just the power of the run offense that these two coaches